students, they're investing 10 hours a day just scrolling, instead of building. And can they give just 1 hour to their future self to build?
Wareesha Shahab, who is not just an author, not just a student, not just a TEDx speaker, not just an entrepreneur, but भाई ये बहुत कुछ कर रही है.
My competition or my comparison is not with the people who are in a separate domain,
Wow.
in a separate industry. That's what
I think
person that I was yesterday, and I'm trying to improve. So if over
I'm
time,
giving the award to this girl, man. Yeah, I could have not imagined myself talking like that.
you should go and experiment yourself. That's how you get exposed.
Aisha is a philosopher as well, guys. Oh my god. Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of Catch Up with Aisha. This episode is going to be very interesting क्योंकि आज मेरे साथ एक teenager मौजूद हैं, Wareesha Shahab, who is not just an author, not just a student, not just a TEDx speaker, not just an entrepreneur, but भाई ये बहुत कुछ कर रही हैं और ये चीज़ें हम वरीशा से ही पूछेंगे. अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरीशा.
Walaikum assalam, Aisha. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. And you are doing wonders, girl, already at the age of 14.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Wareesha, I would like to know, firstly, where does this motivation comes from at the age of 14, where students like me who were just being so nerdy and in books, but you guys are you're being an entrepreneur. Where does the motivation comes from?
So we're living in a world which is really fast-paced. You see, when you see young students, they're doing impressive. But then when you see them, they're investing 10 hours a day just scrolling, instead of building. And can they give just 1 hour to their future self to build so that they can find an extraordinary skill and be relevant in the job market or wherever for the next 10 to 20 years? So that was my aim, to explore early, to start early, because for me, energy is everything. I think what gets you in the room even before the CV is your energy.
Oh my god, at the age of 14, she's talking like somebody who's already a professional. Wow, exactly. It is about the energy and the vibe that speaks. It's your personality. So, Wareesha, would you like to give the credit to your school for your personality grooming, or you would like to give the credit to your family? Where is that coming from?
So basically, I feel like that I've been really observant from a very young age. So I remember I was almost 6 or 7. I used to ask a lot of questions to my father. Like, that was just a symbol that I've been really curious. I used to talk to myself, and I wanted to find a differentiator for myself. I didn't want to be the part of the crowd. I wanted myself to be different, extraordinary, and building something early instead of waiting for the next 10 years and aiming for a prestigious university to go to, and then after that I'll begin my career. I did not have this kind of mindset, and I would give credit to my family, to my mother especially, and my father. They understood my personality from the really beginning, and then they started kind of working on my personality. And the way that they worked for it is like they were really mindful for what I was consuming, the content that I was consuming, the kind of world that I was getting exposed to.
Yeah.
So they were really mindful towards that. And I think I would give the credit to them as well, and their contribution. For school, so from the very beginning, I've gone to a lot of school, but I think school builds that academic part of you.
Yeah.
But they forget to focus on the part of you which will change the world eventually.
This exactly happens, but now the schools, I believe the curriculum is also evolving. It mostly depends on the teachers, how they are schooling and teaching the kids. I personally, while you were talking, I could see myself in you, somebody who wants to be extraordinary, do wonders, and you are already a role model for many, I'm sure. Wareesha, I would like to know that at such young age, you have built a brand. You are a co-founder of it. So tell me something about your brand. Where does this idea came from, and what is the objective?
Okay, so I started a brand back then when I was, I think, 13. Its name is, I'm basically co-founder of 𝐁𝐞𝐲𝐨𝐧 US.
𝐁𝐞𝐲.
Yeah, 𝐁𝐞𝐲. So basically the purpose behind that was to actually bring science to emotions and emotions to fragrance.
Wow.
So basically when I saw the market, the fragrance industry, it's been it's been filled with labeled, unlabeled brands,
Yeah.
organized, unorganized. It's a very big market, and there are already existing good players in this market. But then I felt like that there's a gap. No one is covering that part of demographic which I was looking at. It's
And what
basically
was it?
it was basically Gen Z. The Gen Z, nobody was capturing that vibe, that type of personality that Gen Z had. And what if you feel like all that personality, do a lot of research, what feels best to them?
Yeah.
And a personality, I think, should, for example, if like a fragrance, if one of my products is Slay and Goat and Leader in Me. So
These are the names of your products?
Yeah, these are the names of my
Okay.
products. So
Very Gen Z lingo.
yeah, exactly. So that gave me like an idea. Okay, so if I make these type of different products, I can actually pack sort of emotions in it, and I can research about it. So basically, it wasn't just chemical, and I'm getting in deep, diving into olfactory sciences. That's all about basically how you develop a perfume, and wanted to cover that part of Gen Z. So when they see a brand, they see the packaging of a fragrance, that's really appealing, but they also want to smell good. For example, if you put a fragrance, you really are aiming to put it just because you want to dominate the boardroom. Or probably you want to present yourself really decently and nicely. Or probably like just another corporate exposure that you want to get. So these are the impressions that we picked, and we filled it in those bottles. So
I just feel like that she just continues to speak, you speak so well, so structured, mashallah. So while you are doing all of this, how do you manage? Like, you are being an entrepreneur, and I would also like to know that your brand, where is its existence? Is it in the pilot phase, or is it already on the social media and in the market? And are there any buyers of it?
Yeah, of course. So actually, we're not profitable right now, but I'm actually building and working tirelessly to be profitable. It's already like its existence is already on social media, and we're also doing retail these days. So basically, these are the things which I just really want to do. Kind of reach to that kind of audience which I want to. So
wow, why don't you start teaching in university? You should be teaching marketing to many students. No, that's incredible to see the kind of work that you are doing. And I tell you all that not just an entrepreneur, she is an author as well.
Yeah.
She has written her own books. I would like you to tell the audience about the books that you have written at such young age, and what was your inspiration behind it?
Okay, so first let's start with the very beginning, the book that I wrote first. So that was Grammar It's Fun. Basically, the
Grammar
It's Fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, that was about like how do we perceive grammar. So when I saw the accent training and all the American accent, British accent, people are actually hesitant to speak up just because their grammar is not good, and they feel that way. However, I wanted to show it to the world, and this is what I prepared with my team. A book which is going to tell all the basics of grammar. So if you want to probably like hang out tomorrow with some of the Americans, or probably, although they don't look at grammar, but they would look at the personality that you belong. So based on the consumer demand, I just tried to fill this gap with it, and that's how I developed that book and authored it.
And Wareesha, this is actually a gap. Because when I was in my school, I've observed so many students around me who loves to speak in English, and not just in a school. When I see around, a lot of people likes to speak in English, but where they're struggling is with the grammar, right? Even yesterday only I was talking to my mom, and she loves to speak in English, and usually we converse, but she talks like somewhere she's struggling with grammar. So yesterday only she was telling me, तो मुझे ग्रामर सिखा देती ना सही से तो मेरी इंग्लिश अच्छी हो जाती. So I'll hand over your book to her.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah, all right. So what's the other?
Okay, that's Mind of a Young Founder. The other book that I've just recently published. It's already on Amazon, and soon will be available on the local libraries.
Wow.
So that book is basically about like how the intersection of technology, biology, medicine, and a good dose of youthful bravery. You see the youth, they're always consumption based. But what they don't do is actually construct and create in this world. They consume, but they don't construct and create. That's what I wanted to fill the gap. And that's where my book comes in. And it's basically about how you can intercept fields and link between things so that you can sustain that for the next 10 years down the lane or 20 years down the lane. So we're probably brains are basically not designed to master just one thing
Yeah.
and get a good idea of that and then invest your 10 years to master that one thing and then move on. It's not like that. It's basically the way that you link ideas and different industries together. In my case, it's basically technology, biology, which is medicine, also like a little bit of startup and business. And then when you merge these things together, they become super relevant and they will sustain not just for the next 10 years, but for the next 20, 30 years. That's what my idea
I
is.
think that is so incredible, the kind of idea of merging the science with the entrepreneurship and even bringing the AI in it.
Yeah.
That is the future of the world.
You're
So,
right.
Wareesha, how do you find the time to manage to write a book, to publish a book, and to be an entrepreneur, and to manage your studies? How do you manage everything?
Okay, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
That's basically a very
I'm curious
valid
to know that.
Okay, so the way that I manage things, it's basically there's two parts of me. One is this academic transition that I quickly get. I shift from a professional line towards the academic. So this is like a shift that I do, right? So I think there isn't a balance always. There isn't a 50% of this and 50% of that. There's always 40-60 ratio, right? There's always 40-60% of things. So sometimes when I feel like, okay, there's a heavy need that I need to kind of focus really on my studies and get down to that, because my boards are recently there, just around the corner, and I was like so much towards my studying and studying day and night. So I just focus on these type of things. So there isn't always a balance, and I really feel like that if you're juggling 3 to 4 things together, there isn't always a balance. But you need to identify when your things are gonna link and intercept. So at some point of my life, I'm gonna link and intercept all the things that I'm doing, and it's gonna make a perfect combo, I think. I believe.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure you must be an inspiration for many. But who is your inspiration? Where do you find your inspiration that I follow them or I want to become like, them?
Okay. So there's, of course, several. Like when you see on social media, there's everyone who is, doing so many great things that you actually want to do. But I think you need to become the version of yourself. I think building your identity is what is most important. I think it's not something like what interests you or what's intriguing to you. You just go to that. And the other day, you just go to something else. But I think you need to stay consistent with what you want to do. For in my case, what I feel like my inspiration, it's been like this. I've always came up with this, and even when I do corporate sessions and stuff, I always tell people that it's not like that you have, it's basically personality or position, right? So we look at personality. We want to adopt a person's personality and get inspired to that. And by inspiration, we mean that we actually want to mimic everything what they're doing in their life. If there are 10 good things about that person, there might be 5 bad ones as well. And we end up taking that, right? Then where's our identity? Our identity is not in the chaos. It's basically in silence. When you're executing alone, when you're alone and when no one's around you, that's what your real personality is. And that's what will become the source of inspiration for you.
Wareesha is a philosopher as well, guys. Oh my God. I could have not imagined myself talking like that so maturely. Wareesha, that is honestly at your age, people do not expect kids to be like that mature. Do you sometimes feel that maturity is such a good thing, but then you somewhere feels distracted and feels that my strengths are pulling me down? Does this happen with you?
Okay, so about the distraction part, that's a very good question, and I would love to answer this question. And I do answer this to several people around me, because that's the first question that they ask me, like distraction. Do you get distracted? I think if you are aligned with a passion, that's where you get distracted. But if you're aligned with a purpose, that's where you actually stay focused.
What a beautiful thought.
So what I believe is basically purpose is for everyone around you, and passion is for only you. So if you have to become really selfish, do you really want to be mean to this world? The contributions that you're making is impacting so many lives. And if you actually want to shut everything down, and just think of it, the people who think that you're an inspiration or you're a motivation for them, like what will they be doing? So for a minute, just think about the world, think about the people, the problems around you, basically, what you're facing, what you're feeling. So for me, I like, for me, the distraction is kind of like this, that sometimes I'm like more eager towards like professional part of my career. I just really want to network more, attend
Yeah.
more networking events, start up new projects and stuff, like writing a book or a biomedical research paper. But then sometimes I shift and I try to maintain a, kind of like an equality between both the things. So that's how I'm able to. And I feel like that in this world, we only consume the world, but we
Yes.
don't contribute to it. And that's where we have to start. So that's what I would
Wow.
educate everyone.
Okay, all right, Wareesha. So you are doing pretty much, I guess, yes. We all know that. But we talked about distraction. We talked about how you were building the stuff. But when Wareesha wants her me time, right?
Okay.
Because this is such a hustle bustle around us. Even on internet, we're consuming so much of content. Sometimes we want a break, just a break. So when Wareesha wants sanity of her mind, what does she do?
Okay, so for me, it's probably like binge watching something,
Oh,
but something
really?
more like of motivational. For example, one of the Pursuit of Happiness. It's like my favorite movie of
Oh,
all
yeah, I
times.
have seen
Yeah,
it.
and King Richard, all these type of movies. So I just, whenever I get a break or something, I just, just take my father to cinema. Probably if there's a movie on, like good movie on, or probably at
Nice.
home, just we
Yeah.
binge watch the movie. That's how we actually do, and I think it's very important to take frequent breaks. Otherwise, you'll
True.
get a burnout, and that's not pretty ideal.
The burnout word usually is used for office employees because corporate employees gets a lot,
Yeah,
burnout. But
yeah.
wow, listening from a 14-year-old teenager, my God. Okay, Wareesha, coming to the next question is, when we talk about purpose,
Hmm.
something inside of us is always telling us is our calling, that you
Hmm.
are made for it, right?
Yeah.
You build a brand, you're an author, you are a TEDx speaker as well,
Yeah.
right? How did you plan to build it? Where the idea came from that I should be doing this? Where at your age girls are busy, oh, makeup, let's learn it, let's do the beauty, Charlotte Tilbury. You are doing incredible job.
Yeah, okay. So basically, that's also a very well thought question. Okay. So my answer to that is going to directly align to purpose. So basically, you need to find a purpose of your life, the reason for your existence. Like, you're living in this world, but why are you living in this world?
Yeah.
When people are not being impacted by your work, you're not impacting lives, right? So basically, that's one of the parts. And I think we're so much obsessed with this gimmicky social media world where everyone's just following trend. For me, only one person create trends and 10 million mindlessly follows that. Like, that's really frustrating for me. Like, why do they do that?
Yeah.
Like, do they see a reason behind following that trend? I think create your own trends. I think
Yeah.
that's how you do it. And those trends should be like educational, something which is teaching people, educating people.
Yeah.
So that's what's really important to me. And instead of just following or being the part of the crowd, you have to actually take decisive actions.
Correct.
And I think your ordinary actions that you do, that you take in a day, is basically what compounds over time and makes like an extraordinary life that you experience or wonder for. So
Wow. Varisha, there's a question that I always think that, when we make a sane content, that when we make informative content, that gets less reviews and less views if there is something entertainment purpose, right? People who make such content, they know this pain. So has it ever happened to you that you have made such a wonderful video and you're putting it out and you are doing such a good work, but then you feel that, यार मतलब she or he just made that one video and it's viral? Does it also pull you back, or there is something that you do about it to keep yourself motivated?
Okay, so that's also again a very well thought question. I would like to answer it this way, that I think my competition or my comparison is not with the people who are in a separate domain, in a separate industry. For me, the competition right now that I have is the person that I was yesterday, and I'm trying to improve. So if over time,
I'm giving the award to this girl, man. Yeah.
So basically, if probably like the person that I was, I have the competition with that person, that version of me, right? If that person was gaining a lot of views and then suddenly that person is not gaining views, like it's me. Probably like the other day, I came across one of my videos and that's not performing well than the previous one. So I would kind of like go to the groundwork and actually go research for that. Why is it not working? What's the reason behind it not working? And for me, research is something which is really important. And like finding, even like when we were testing for our fragrances, what we were doing is that we were making some AI powered websites, and then we literally listed our perfumes and fragrances to just take the review. The most important thing is that how you set yourself apart from the people in the crowd and how you define yourself. My father is the one who just asks me to do everything myself. Like he is the one, just go experiment. Just don't ask me, just go and experiment. But at some point when I feel like that I need him, so he shows his support and he's always there for me. So that's the thing. And my mother was always like this, that my father shouldn't help and help me or spoon feed me everything, but my father should actually be available for me at times where I'll feel difficult. My mother is like, you should go and experiment yourself. That's how you get exposed to this.
Mothers are like that always.
You're right.
Sweet. So Wareesha, with that, what is your goal in future? Like you are already doing a lot and you have done a lot. I am sure you have already inspired a lot of people of your age and who are also older than you. What is your goal in future? Where do you see yourself? Oh, I don't want to sound like an HR. Sorry.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in next 5 years? No.
Okay.
What's your goal in life?
Okay. So basically for me, the goal in life is not to aim for a prestigious university and then after that you're probably lending to one of the big companies like Google, Meta in the Valley, or probably like McKinsey or Goldman Sachs, all these big companies, right? For me, this is not my goal. My goal is to reach the people and create an impact. So how can I create that? So there's actually the research work that I've done for this as well, is that I'm going to merge technology with medicine. As I told you prior, I'm going to do a startup out of that. So probably turning the problems that people are facing, finding a solution to that problem, solving that problem, and actually bringing that to life in a form of product. I'm probably going to pivot more times because, things don't just work out as planned, but it's always good to have a plan A, B, and C. I feel like it's not distraction. It's something what keeps you in the zone, it gives you motivation when you just lose because you had one plan. So that's like my idea.
That is wonderful. And what I love is that at this age, you are not bounding yourself to just one thing. You are giving yourself the chance to follow the drive that you have, and you are following that, and you have a beautiful, beautiful voice. And I believe that you are going to go a very long way, Wareesha, with that voice, because you have this aim of creating an impact. People who has this in them, they actually creates an impact wherever they go, because they move, they walk, they spread that energy around.
Thank you for believing in me. Thank you.
No, girl, I see it. I'm rooting for you. Don't worry. Okay, Wareesha, apart from all this incredible work that you are already doing, mashallah, you have told me about a research paper that is published, right? Mashallah, at this young age, is there anything left? So I would like to know about it. That how did this happen, that you are already working in the research? Because you told me that you have immense passion and there's a need of research, first of all. So tell me about it.
Okay, so basically the research idea, as I told you prior, I've been really curious from the really young age. But I felt like that medical or medicine is like a very regulated industry. If you enter in that industry, you need a degree, you need actually experience, right? And without that, you can't. But I feel like that the youth are like so much, like they're filled with ideas, genuinely. And because of that, I went on Google and searched about type 1 diabetes, and I found out that it's actually non-curable. Right? There's a lot of scientific work going on these days, for example, stem cell therapy and so many other elements, and they are actually working out to find a reason. So basically, to find a solution. But for me, how can I contribute to this regulated industry where experienced educational professions or probably like a scientist are actually working towards it. But I was like, okay, this is something that I have to solve. If not solve, then spark conversation around it. Do something which will spark conversation around it. And so I started writing a biomedical research paper. I got it validated by a lot of professors, and they were ready to take a bet on me. That was like, so for that, I was fortunate that they were ready to take a bet on me. They proofread the whole research paper and validated that research paper. And because of that, I was able to launch it or like publish it as a preprint. So the easy
Where
words,
can we find it?
Okay, it's basically available on ResearchGate or Authoria. They're probably like, I'll send you a link, okay?
Yeah, sure. So, and I will send you all the link.
Okay. So basically, it's the website where you can find it, and it's easy to download that. So that's the whole idea behind it. Like, curiosity should be at that kind of level, which is going to solve problems, and which problems is everywhere around us, right?
True.
You see, and for me, I think medical school teaches you the problem, but have they ever taught you to get freedom from those? Never. They would never tell you that. That's what you have to think, right? So for the medical books, even like I took biology in 9th grade, you have to choose, right? Either what do you have to choose for your life? Probably it's biology, chemistry, and physics. I chose biology because I wanted to see all those problems in the book of medicine, which nobody is talking about, and it's actually labeled as fine. It's labeled as good. We need to actually talk, and I feel like that picking up a very small market in this medicine industry and then kind of growing that market is what matters. So if everyone is going towards a very huge problem where there are a lot of players, I think for you to sustain in that industry is a way that you can go to another industry, probably like another problem that you feel, and then grow your product in that. Dominate that market will grow really fast. Like, I believe in that.
I can't wait to see her brand already. That will be regulated by medicine and AI, because these are the future of our future, of the world. So Wareesha, the story that you have just told me, the main part, the main thing is that you did not just found the problem, you thought that I should be solving it. And you at least tried to do whatever was in your capacity. So okay, one very interesting question. You are doing so much, mashallah, right? If I ask you to pick one thing, being an entrepreneur or being a writer, an author, or a speaker, pick one out of all the passions that you're doing, what would it be?
Okay, this might be an indirect answer to your question. If I would say, like, I would call myself as youth innovator, because that covers everything what I'm doing. So actually, people are really weird. Like, when I see people, they're like, you're doing so much, you're having so many different fields, and you're like, you're diverse, right? How are you gonna collect all of it? Kind of like put them under one umbrella. So it's like there's going to be a time where I'm going to merge all of these things, and that will stay relevant for the next years, right? So that's what I believe in. And for me right now, I think I would definitely choose writing and speaking, because that's what creates massive impact.
Exactly.
If you don't know writing, if you don't know speaking, you cannot sustain your brand, and especially you cannot reach the audience, reach the people who genuinely need you. So for me, confidence, first and most important thing, and second, writing. That's what changed life.
And when you write, the ideas generate from there.
Yeah, you're right, exactly.
So our thought process starts to function more. It is scientifically proven that brain cells starts to function more when you write.
You're right.
Not even when I have to jot down my ideas, I do not use my phone. I write, because that's when I think the brain starts to function more. It was lovely having you on Catch Up with Aisha, and such a wonderful conversation. I get to learn a lot from you, Wareesha.
Thank you so much.
Because I think this is the need of an hour, that youth, the teenagers, do not just learn those skills that might not be very helpful to them in future, but they need to focus on something innovative, because world is moving towards AI. And if we merge science with AI, what's better than that? Everything that is around us is science, and you at such young age is already thinking about it, not just thinking, implementing, taking an action. That's wonderful to see.
Thank you.
And I wish
Thank you
you
so
best
much.
of luck in future.
Thank you so much. I think the only message that I would like to give
Yeah.
the youth is probably like you're investing 10 hours a day doing other things. Just give 1 hour to building your future,
Yeah.
exploring your ideas, and get down to working in those. And instead of just spending a consumption based life, you really want to create an impact. So if you leave this world one day, people will remember you for your impact because you have to create a legacy and there's a long way to go. So I feel like youth is this only like sort of generation, Gen Z especially. They're these people who can actually think, build, construct, and they have so much good brains. Like they can actually do things out of that, and they're just genuinely great working brains.
Very
So I
true,
feel
very
like
true.
that.
And the way she said about the legacy, I always every day tell my mom, when I die, one day I want to leave a legacy behind that people remembers me not just as an ordinary person, but she did something to create an impact.
Yeah,
So I could see
exactly.
my younger self in you.
Thank
Incredible, Wareesha. And to everyone who is watching us, I just want to say that yes, please work on your purpose, because everyone is coming in this world and we are coming and dying. But is this something that you want out of it, or there is more to it? Our creator has created us and spent time on creating us. That means there is something that we are being sent on this earth to fulfill. So think about it. What is it? Then just regular routine and complaining about gas, light, and the transport and everything. I know these are the problems, but there is more to it. What is your purpose? So I'll catch up with you again in another episode with another interesting guest. Till then, take care and please keep Karachi clean. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.